this is the original painting that I am working to reproduce.
Alright, here we go. We're going to be...
A digital copy or master has been made to cut the stencils from. Since it is difficult to recognize the different colors through the green film, I keep the original at a close distance for reference. We are joining this print in progress on day 4 with 3 previous shades of gray already printed. The screen is a tightly stretched polyester mesh. The mesh allows the ink to pass through the paper below with the pressure of a squeegee. I am using acetone to adhere the lacquer stencil to the screen. Wipe on, wipe off. Now I peel the plastic backing away from the green emulsion, being careful to see that it is firmly attached. Alright, so this part, this is a solution made from, it's a lacquer liquid that's made from the scraps of green and mixed with lacquer thinner. Fill these open spots along the edge between the stencil and the blocked out screen. You just trowel that on with a little card. Cover up those areas. Let it fill in. And here to fill it all in. And that should do that. Now the green filler doesn't take long at all to dry, so once that's done, I'm going to put on the flood bar and the squeegee onto the press. The flood bar you see is a piece of metal with a very sharp edge, and it's beveled. This edge here is sharp as a knife. That goes down with the flat side against the screen like that. We put it back into a rack. It's jaws. It clips on here. And that's secured. Next we take the rubber squeegee. Wood with rubber in the middle. We screw that on the front. Now the stroke to print is a 2-part stroke. At first the press will come down, this arm will come down, the flood bar engages here and it draws the ink across. And then the flood bar will lift and the squeegee comes down and presses the ink in a stroke that goes in this direction. I move on to the inks, and there's a lot of ink. Mixing goes on. I've made up a little bit of yellow and then some yellow with a bit of orange in it to get a shade that's going to be in the print. So we printed a couple of gray colors first, lighter gray and a darker gray on the print earlier so that the yellow has something to sit on top of and create other shades, and you'll see how that happens. I'm going to start with a little bit of the orangey color on this side, my brighter yellow. It's going to be over here on this side. And it might be that I have to adjust this color a little bit. I don't know if the yellow I have here on the left-hand side of the print is actually going to be orange enough, but we'll see. So I call this part tickling the inks together to pre-mix them. There's going to be a gradation. We're going to go for a smooth appearance on the transition between the yellow and the orange. We start by doing that. So let's wait for a second. Take the squeegee down. And let's just push that back a little bit and we'll work it together. Now we set that back in place. Set the screen in place. It's always exciting seeing the color go down on the first sheet. Okay, let's see what happens. Get that in there just so, fit it nice and even. Voila. Okay, I think I need to play with it a little bit and get the color right. Check for registration, check for color, and check for any dots in the margin that need to be corrected. Pre-mixing it. Screen hook back up. Okay, there's always something that can go wrong, and today it was a real doozy. I've cleaned up the mess, but I'm going to show you exactly what happened. Okay, I'm printing the fluorescent red. Now what happened was, as I was printing, I'll show you the squeegee here, and the squeegee broke. See the rubber? The whole thing just gave way and broke right away, and I lost complete pressure as I was printing. I wasn't getting good ink coverage, so I had to stop and clean the stencil completely off the screen. So I only managed to get about a third of the way into the edition and had to stop printing and wash everything out. So now what I've got to do is get the stencil film out again and cut a new stencil and cut it exactly like the last one. So it's back over to the drawing table. I'll get the film out and we'll get going again. Now, it really sucks to have to go back and repeat your work. You gotta do what you gotta do. I got a better idea. Instead of cutting the stencil from the master, I'm gonna cut the stencil from one of the prints. So this is, I usually put the film right onto the master that I'm working from and cut it the same way, but to make sure I absolutely cut it the way it was cut before, I'm going to use one of the existing prints. This way for sure I will be cutting it exactly like I was cutting it before. So this is a two-part film. It has a plastic backing behind this soft lacquer film that's on top, so you cut down into it and you peel it away, and I'm not cutting all the way through to the paper. There still is a film of clear plastic that doesn't get cut. Now I'm going to replace the old rubber with a new element. If you look close, you can see a couple of paper masks that will block the ink from printing in those areas. I have cut 2 different color runs onto the same stencil. I sometimes use this technique if the colors can easily be separated. Here I am printing fluorescent red first, then following with the transparent red.
Let's see what we got. Okay, I want that to be a little bit more transparent to bring in that lighter color back in there. So I'm going to take some transparent base. Let's mix it in. There we go. Letting a little bit more of that undercoat show through. Further. Yeah. As you need to get it pre-blended. Come over here and put some more down on this outside edge here.
These fine white lines are a design element, but they also act as a good registration reference to keep the print on track.
Okay, so now we're going to do the tire blend. And all along the print has been going perpendicular to the press this way. But since the blend of the tire goes in the other direction, we're going to have to print it this way because we can't change the direction of the squeegee. So we have to change the direction of the print and the way it orients into the press. Start by having a highlight. My darker gray here. Let's give it a shot and see what we have. Beautiful thing.
Strong solvents are used to clean the inks and stencils away from the screen. I always wear a mask and gloves and have a big exhaust fan and open window. Okay, so here we are coming down to the very end of the print. This is the master that we're looking at right here. And what we're concerned with now are these little, you see these little red accents throughout here, these little lines, these little thrown elements of red ink that you see. I want to add to the print to just add some spark and some action. Some up in here, some up right up in there like that. Now, the problem is when you take the green film and put over the art, you can see the composition through there, but because of the green, so I'll show you here, because of the green, the black, the reds just disappear and turn black. You can't see them at all to read them and cut them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this clear acetate that comes on the back of it, and I can see through that. And what I've done is I'm going to go through here with a black pen, and I'm going to color those in. See, some of them are already done here, so I'm going to color those in exactly the location there like that, and fill them all in. And then I can take the piece and lay it over on white, and then now you can see all those elements that are drawn in with the black pen on the white. And then when I put my green film over top, then I'll be able to see those and cut them out, and then place it back on the master, and we'll adhere the stencil and print those. Okay, this is the fun part. The edition number here, and the title.